What will happen if, all of a sudden, a poisonous snowfall begins across the entire world, killing millions and billions of people? Within just one day, 99% of Earth's population is wiped out, and only a few chosen survivors struggle to stay alive amidst this catastrophe. But how did it all begin? What is the mystery behind it? Let's go back to the very start in the latest 2025 adventure series. The story opens on a ruined Earth, where one of the last remaining survivors, wearing a safety suit, ventures out in search of food and water. The entire world is covered, abandoned, and silent. A deadly snowstorm had recently wiped out almost 99% of the population. But how did it start? The story rewinds to weeks earlier, back when the world was still normal. A group of girls had taken a boat out near the sea to party when suddenly the city behind them went into a total blackout. Strange green light spread across the sky. They immediately realized something wasn't normal. One girl rushed inside to start the boat again, but shockingly none of the electronics were working. Suddenly, the two friends standing outside collapsed and died as snow began falling on them. Meanwhile, in Spain, after a blackout, people protested in the streets, assuming it was yet another deliberate power cut. Traffic jams piled up. Among the people stuck was a man named Juan, who had just dropped his wife and daughter at home and was heading to drink with his friends at Alfredo's house. On TV, they saw breaking news about a fire in a factory causing toxic gas leaks. Juan brushed it off, and the friends began drinking and playing games. None of them realized that life was about to change forever. Soon, even their generator failed. Alfredo's wife, Anna, came down and informed them that the delivery man who had brought their drinks had collapsed and died outside. The friends looked out to see snow falling, something impossible in that region, especially in summer. Juan remembered the factory gas leak and realized this snowfall wasn't natural, it was poisonous. The delivery man had died because of it. Juan urged everyone to seal the windows and doors immediately, but panic rose, since their families were still elsewhere and unreachable. Phones, computers, everything had shut down. One friend, ignoring warnings, covered himself with a jacket and stepped outside, but he too collapsed instantly. Horrified, the others realized they were trapped. Just then, a young girl appeared at the back door, covered fully with safety gear and plastic sheets. She survived because the snow hadn't touched her. The survivors realized they would need full protective covering to go out. Juan, desperate to save his family, improvised a suit and mask. At dawn, he set out and, miraculously, survived. But what he saw outside was horrifying: bodies everywhere, entire streets filled with the dead. Back at Alfredo's house, survivors worried about food and water. Alfredo decided to sneak to the police station to gather more masks and safety suits. Meanwhile, Juan trekked toward his wife and daughter's building. On the way, he discovered a locked train compartment full of starving survivors, begging for help, while outside, everyone had died. He gave them his only water bottle and promised to return. Finally, Juan reached his wife Elena, relieved to see her alive. But his daughter, Clara, was missing. She had gone to a party the night before and never returned. Phones weren't working, and Elena didn't know her friends' addresses. Juan promised to find her. Other survivors in the building, led by a man named Charlie, demanded Juan's mask for themselves. Juan refused, knowing he had to save Clara. Armed with a gun, he and Elena tried to escape, but Charlie chased them. In desperation, Juan gave Elena his suit and mask, sending her out to find Clara, while he faced Charlie. Juan used plastic to cover his face, shattered a window, and let poisonous snow rush in, forcing Charlie and others to retreat. Juan jumped but fainted. Luckily, Alfredo's group rescued him with extra suits and masks they had gathered. As Juan recovered, meteors began falling from the sky, burning rocks crashing onto Earth. Soon, monstrous alien-like creatures emerged, attacking both survivors and soldiers. These weren't natural disasters, they were invasions. Juan and Alfredo barely survived and discovered a church where survivors hid, led by a nun who explained the truth: the meteors had brought alien creatures. Their goal was to wipe out humanity and claim Earth. The poisonous snow was only the beginning. From there, survival became harder. Food ran out, looters killed each other, trust broke down, and even among survivors, betrayal grew. Juan still searched tirelessly for Clara, while Alfredo struggled between protecting his group and helping his old friend. Eventually, Juan reunited with Clara, but something was wrong. She behaved strangely, as if she weren't fully herself. Before anyone could question it, the group decided to head to a supposed safe island. But the journey was filled with dangers: looters, collapsing society, aliens multiplying, and military forces hiding secrets. At one point, Juan and Alfredo witnessed horrifying alien attacks, gigantic creatures slaughtering soldiers, unstoppable by guns. They realized Earth was no longer the same. Humanity's greatest fight wasn't just survival from poisonous snow, but survival against an alien invasion. The survivors fled from city to city, hiding in malls, trains, and abandoned buildings. Sacrifices were made, old couples ringing church bells to distract aliens, strangers dying to save groups. Slowly, soldiers began organizing camps, training survivors with weapons, preparing to fight back. Weeks passed, and strangely, the poisonous snowfall stopped as suddenly as it began. Sunshine returned. People rejoiced, thinking the disaster was over. But Juan and others knew the truth: the aliens were still there. The real war had only just begun.